Hey guys, Ryan King here, and I'm the keyboard instructor for worshipartistry.com. In today's YouTube lesson, we're going to take a look at the song We Are the Free by Matt Redman. Specifically, we're going to look at the tone section of this lesson. Now, we're only going to look at the tone section, so if you want to see the entire lesson, you need to click the link and head over to Worship Artistry, where you can sign up for an account for less than $10 a month, and it's totally worth it. But just in case you want to check out a YouTube video, this is for you. The tone for this song is definitely different than most songs. We're not using a piano or a pad or anything like this. It's definitely a big synth-driven kind of song, especially from the keyboard perspective. And so the first sound that we're going to use, which all of these sounds are coming out of Omnisphere, just the power of Omnisphere really makes this easy to do. And so what you see here on my iPad is just a controller. All the sounds are coming from my computer. And the first sound that we're using is called Barbaric Bass Arp. I've adjusted it just a little bit, really thickened it out a little bit more, and by itself it sounds like this. So there you can see it's got basically just an eighth note arpeggiator set to it. It's playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again it's just got that big just nice bass kind of sound. You don't want it to be too bass heavy because you are going to have a bass player playing along with you. You want this to really blend in with what he's doing and add in just a nice kind of attack texture to it with all that air and fizz in the sound. In addition to that, I've also doubled that over to part 4 and I've taken off the arp and it sounds like this. So there you can see it's the same sound. I've just taken off the arp, and that's because we're going to play some single notes throughout the song here and there. In addition to that, we've got a big kind of synth part that's really a lead. This one is called Gigantic Wake Lead, and it sounds like this. So there you can see it's definitely a big dance kind of synth. It's got a little bit of resonance in it, just a slight amount of glide, not much. And you can just see it's got a really nice texture to it. Definitely has that kind of dance kind of sound. And so I've limited that from B flat and above. On the bass arp, I've limited that to the lower B flat and below. And that's because we're playing both of these sounds and we don't want them to cross over. In addition to that gigantic wake lead, we're also using another sound. This is called JP8 bright lead, and it sounds like this. You can hear it's nice and thin, and when you add that with the gigantic wake lead, it sounds really good. It adds just a nice kind of, almost like a point to the spear as far as that sound is concerned. And then finally, we've got two other arps that we're using. One is called Juno Octave Arp Plucker, and it sounds like this. So there's a combination of a Juno synth as well as just a regular super saw kind of wave, and we've added that in. I've kind of thickened it out just a little bit and then applied a randomized kind of arpeggiator to it where it jumps around. I've bumped it down an octave so I can play it up high, but it sounds a little bit lower. And then finally, we're using another arp that we use especially during the verses. This one is called Fair and Square 1, and it sounds like this. So there you can see it's got a nice square kind of sound to it as far as a square wave is concerned, and the arpeggiator is just set to eighth notes again, and it's set to an up-down motion, so it just kind of continues to go back and forth from the top note down to the bottom note of whatever chord you're playing. I've added in some ping-pong delay to it as well, but other than that, it's a fairly kind of standard patch in Omnisphere. So again, we're using two instances of the Barbaric Bass Arp. The second instance does not have the arp, it's just the bass by itself. Gigantic Wake Lead, JP8 Bright Lead, our Juno Octave Arp Plucker, and our Fair and Square. If you've got those 6 sounds, then you'll definitely have what you need to sound like the album.